Welcome back. Now, just how far would you push the boat out for your wedding gown? How much would you actually spend? Well, have a look at these all around me, because a couple of the designs from Nomi Ansari, the acclaimed Pakistani fashion designer who's in London for this year's fashion parade. The event is concentrating on luxury Pakistani fashion. He's with me, and so is the event's organiser, Sadia Siddiqui. Thanks, both of you, for being here on the show and for bringing these extraordinary gowns. Nomi, to you, first of all, you're described as Pakistan's king of colour, and when you look at the gowns you've brought us, I mean, you don't disappoint. Just talk us through what you're trying to do.
Thank you so much, firstly, for inviting us here. It's a great pleasure. They call me king of color because we play with a lot of colors. The palette is very vast, and the country we live in has a lot to offer. It's very vibrant, it's very colorful, it's very festive, and that reflects in our clothes, the culture and heritage and everything.
I want to get the camera to just move down these extraordinary gowns because they are so elaborate. I was looking at them really close up a few minutes ago. Tell me, just apart from them being extraordinarily beautiful, I mean, how long does it take to make something like that? The beading, the sequins, all of that.
It's a very long process. It's a very couture garment, and any garment, it's a couple of stages one has to go through. It starts off with the basic sketch, then it takes us a while to make it final. The illustration turns into an illustration, to work on a color palette, the print, the embroidery, embellishments, the intricate detailing. It takes from 8 to 16 weeks to complete one garment.
And presumably all those sequins individually,
yes, sequins, beads,
hand-stitched.
It's all hand-stitched, yes. Everything's hand-embroidered. It's very couture. The stitching, everything it's very fine. We use the best finishings, crystal, Swarovskis, and sequins. So
Sadia, this show that you've brought to London, I mean, it is unashamedly elitist, isn't it? Let's be fair.
It is. It is. I believe that couture is something that only a certain bracket can afford anyway, as it is here in London. So we create this platform really for a select group of people. We focus on media, we focus on PR, we focus on promoting our designers. I believe that
What
Pakistan...
about ordinary people, though?
You know, ordinary people, because we do it in very small venues. For instance, the capacity yesterday was at one Marylebone was 250. And the whole idea of doing this event, it reaches the masses through the media, through the PR. But the whole idea of doing this event was to promote our Pakistani designers here to the Western world. I think Pakistan has such a rich culture, such rich heritage, and as you can see, such amazing workmanship. I think people in the international audience deserve to see it.
And the international audience, the UK market, I mean, how big is that?
You know, as you know, Asians are the largest ethnic minority in the UK, and there is a demand for Pakistani designers here, and actually for all South Asian designers, Indians and Pakistanis both. And but somehow people can't travel all the way to Pakistan and have access. Some can, but some can't. So what I would like to do is what I have done over the years is create a platform where I can bring designers here and showcase some of their best works.
And Nomi, for you, what is the advantage of coming here and doing a show like this? Because I was reading some of the quotes. You've been rather brutal about other shows. I won't name them, but you talk about audiences that are half-hearted. You talked about rather vulgar, garish displays. What is it about this show that's tempted you over?
This show, I've been working with Sadia since the very first year she started. This show, of course, because the presentation is very important, and you know how everything is on social media, is on your fingertips. It has to reach out to the masses, and I think it's a great platform, and it goes out to the masses through social media, your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
But you talk about masses. I mean,
yes.
Just for a dress, a gown like that that we're looking at, I mean, how much would that be?
We sell something like this for from $2,000 to $4,000, which is really...
You talk about the masses.
No, the masses, people who cannot buy it or cannot afford it. It's like same way. There's H&M also, and there's a Dolce & Gabbana right across the road. So it's the high street wear also, and there's a cheaper version also, and there's a couture brand also. The people do get inspired. You buy something from a designer, and then you get a cheaper version from another place. And that's how it is in Pakistan, in every country, in India also. So it's very accessible for people to get inspired and get things copied, and you get similar things, and which you know how things are.
I can see by the cameras lingering on the dress. I just want to ask you a quick question again about the dress, because I mean you're the king of colour, but how do you work it so that you don't clash with colours? That would be the obvious danger.
It's a forte. When somebody asks me to work with a beige or a fawn or a very nude colour, I think I go blind, because I cannot work with anything which is no colour. I think that God has made us so colourful, and there's so much to offer, and there's so much to get inspired by. Colours really attracts me. I cannot work with. That's a forte. This is the only thing that really attracts me anywhere in the world. I get inspired by anything. The traveling is one thing that I love, only because of the sole reason.
And just in terms of, you know, we were talking and you were talking about Pakistani culture. I mean, for the wedding culture is quite something over there,
yes.
Because here in the UK, I suspect people understand that it's the bride's day. There, I would say less so. There's quite a lot of competition, isn't there, come the wedding day, amongst all the guests.
Of course, there's a huge competition, and now people are so aware. As I mentioned earlier, social media has really gone out of its way. It's really have crossed the boundaries. Now everybody has to look good. There's a tough competition. Everyone wants to stand out, look good. They see others' pictures. A bride wants to look like this. You know how the film culture, the Bollywood and the Lollywood has influenced everyone. It really inspires people.
What's feeding into you, though? Because, I mean, you're here in London, so how much do you change to adapt to, is it Western cuts? What do you do that is different to what you would do back home?
Okay. What we do is, end of the day, we have to sell something which is more ethnic, more Pakistani, that's more reachable to people, it's more sellable. But when we come here, we do get inspired by the cuts, the new fashion forecast. It's fashion forward when you come here, but back home we have limitations, so we have to work under certain boundaries.
Sadia, I was intrigued
Yes.
by this because I mean it's a runway show and all of that, which is similar to a lot of what we see, but here people can actually buy what they see, and that's unusual, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, we are quite excited because we have now partnered up with an online platform called Studio by TCS, and all our designers' collections are available online for sale. Of course, previously when our designers used to come, you know, they would meet people from, various stalkers and so on and so forth, who would get in touch with our designers and want to buy. I mean, Nomi already has a list of people waiting to buy the clothes that were on display last night. Like he said, because of social media, you show something right now on your catwalk, and in no time it will be on your Instagram, and it will be accessible to the whole world.
Quickly,
social media has changed everything, I think.
It's interesting you were talking about international events because, I mean, there have been many occasions where people have come over, designers, a lot of hoopla, but it's not really filtered through into actually generating much business. Do you think you're likely to break that mold?
You know, when I created Fashion Parade, I'll be honest with you, I didn't create Fashion Parade primarily to sell clothes. In order to sell clothes, I could have done an exhibition. The whole idea of creating Fashion Parade was that I felt that South Asian fashion was not being represented on an authentic platform which met international standards. There were people doing shows, but I wanted to do a show that was similar to something that you see at London Fashion Week. And if you want to attract an international audience, you need to do a show that's relatable to them in terms of how you present the show, the production, the models, so on and so forth. And of course, the whole idea was to promote the best of South Asia.
You talk about London Fashion Week. It's interesting because they're inviting Pakistani designers as well. There seems to be something going on. What do you think is going on?
I heard about it, but I'm not sure what exactly it's all about. But I know.
But just in terms of the interest in Pakistani fashion, what do you think is going on?
I was in Milan last week because I was invited by Milano Unica, which is the biggest textile and fashion fair in Italy. It was a great experience, such a great exposure to the market, exploring, and after the whole social media war, everything, people would like to explore other markets. They want to get into other businesses, get inspired.
There were only two designers.
There were two designers they picked from Pakistan.
And it was him and Maria B.
So it was a great experience. And after London, of course.
Well, listen, we have run out of time. I hope my wife is not listening, but they are, I would say, a little better than her wedding sari. So I'm hoping you might leave just one of these two with me. Thank you both for coming in and being with us, and thanks for bringing your fabulous gowns as well. Well, we have plenty more coming back. We're back live in Washington in the next few minutes. Don't go away, still much more coming up on today's Global.